Hello, I'm Mickey, and today Robert, Travis, Mitchell, and I, Team D, are here to tell you about a new game that is designed to help children learn to read, spell, recognize numbers, and solve basic math problems. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Learning with Harry. Harry is an interactive hippopotamus that will eat letters, words, and numbers, provided you can identify them correctly. Learning with Harry will allow children to play against each other or against a computer. In the spelling module, Harry will say a word 3 times. Then letters will randomly appear on a screen. A player can accumulate points by being the first to identify each letter in the correct sequence where it belongs in the correctly spelled word. The player identifies the letter by clicking Harry and dragging him over to the letter and releasing the mouse clicker. If the letter is correct, Harry will eat it. If not, Harry will run back home. The player that correctly spells the word will get the points for the entire round. In the next round, the player can increase the difficulty by increasing from 3-letter words to 4-letter words, or he or she can continue at the same difficulty level. Once the game reaches a point where neither player can correctly spell the word, the game will end, and the player with the most points will be declared the winner. There will be a help button that the player can click, and Harry will help the player to identify the next letter. In the reading module, Harry will say a word 3 times. Then words will randomly appear on the screen. The player will identify the correct word and drag Harry to that word in the same manner as in the spelling module. If the player is correct, Harry will eat the word. If the player is incorrect, Harry will run home. The player that is first to correctly identify the word wins the points for that round. Again, the player can increase the difficulty level by moving from 2-letter words to 3 or more letter words. Players progress through each round, and when neither player can identify the word correctly, the game will end. The player with the most points will win. There will also be a help button that the player can click, and Harry will help the player to sound out the word. In the math module, a mathematical problem will appear on the screen and flash 3 times. Then solutions will randomly appear on the screen. Once the player has found what he believes is the correct solution, he must drag Harry to that answer. If that answer is correct, Harry will eat it. If not, as in previous modules, Harry will run back home. There will be 3 math modules. Module 1 will be to identify the number that matches the spelled out number that flashes on the screen. The second module will be addition. An addition problem will appear on the screen and flash 3 times. Then numbers will randomly appear, and the player must identify the correct answer. Once the player believes he or she has identified the correct answer, they will drag Harry to that answer. If it isn't indeed correct, Harry will eat it. If not, Harry will run home as in previous modules. Module 3 will be subtraction, and subtraction will be conducted the same as the addition module. For all 3 modules, the player will win if he or she has the most points at the end of that round, and the player will then be allowed to proceed to the next level. There will also be help buttons provided in this module as well. Learning with Harry is designed for preschool and elementary school children. It is an interactive game where players will learn the sounds letters make, to spell and read 2 to 7-letter words. In the math modules, players will learn to recognize the spelled number and its relationship to its numerical value. They will also learn to add and subtract single to 3-digit math problems.